Good morning and welcome back to Ecocentric. It's October the 3rd and we've had our first frost last night. This will be the first casualty. I guess I'll have to process it right away. It's got a layer of ice over the top of it. It is fully mature though, so the seeds are probably good in it already. This one now, he's immature, so I definitely have to can that or bottle it. This one in here now, the skin is starting to go hard, and it was protected by the leaves, so it's okay. Once again, this one down here, he's immature, but I'm going to have to collect them up because there's another cold night coming tonight. See, all the leaves have gotten touched by frost, so when the sun comes up they're going to just turn black now. These two full-size ones, the skin is starting to get hard. They haven't been touched by frost, and I have several more in among this that I'll collect. Take an early morning shot of this. Looks like the sun is melting anything that was frozen. Yeah, see, there's a bit of frost right there. So these look good right now. We'll see how well that holds up to a light frost. Now, that's the garden knuckleberry. The tomatoes, in my experience, can handle just a light frost. I mean, it looks like a heavy frost where there's frost everywhere, but that's just because the air is so humid. But a lot of these looks like, I mean, they're still in the shade and looks like they didn't get any frost at all. There's a bit hanging on right here. Yeah, see, that's just barely frosted. I'm thinking that the tomato plants will get through that just fine. Another thing to note in by these trees, we have protection. We didn't get any didn't freeze, it's just a really heavy dew. See, there's no frost on any of that on the outside bed now, and especially because it's just the meadow clippings. There's frost, but on the inside there's none. But even just the live leaves, yeah, that's frosted, see? It's such a heavy dew that kind of got a sheet, it turned into a sheet of slush on the leaves. But on the inside bed, it's still just water. So we'll see how that works later. This one doesn't seem to have any frost on it. I'm surprised he's on the outside. And let's see what the sage is like, because the sage is furry as well. No, it doesn't seem like that's ice either. It's just a heavy dew. I'm going to record a complete tour now, and I'll put it in a couple of videos. So in this video we'll just do the vegetable garden. So the frost was enough to kill the squash. So you can see all of the leaves, almost all of the leaves are done. These squash don't seem to have gotten hurt. Still mark the things somewhat, but these are starting to turn. These are the biggest of the Wadham butternut. So I think they're pretty much mature. It's just that the skin has to harden now. And I have several that are immature, but they'll still be good to use, and I'll bottle them or freeze them or one or the other. We'll see what the other things that may have been affected by the frost. Of course, rutabaga and beets, they're not going to be killed by the first light frost. These two cabbages, that little head, I mean, it's small, but this one's a little soft, but this one is actually quite firm in the center, as well as this. No, this one is soft as well. But we'll see what we can get out of them. I covered that. I don't think I'm going to cover this one. I really want to go through that. And look at all the rocks that's in this. This is really need to be sifted through, and the roots got out and whatnot. Beets. It didn't kill the Kennebec potato plants. Remember, it wasn't really frosty underneath the trees, so they're still alive and running. The lovage looks unharmed. This flower is fading now. I should have taken a picture of it earlier. It was a nice looking flower, so calendula, and then there was this one over here, but they're both faded now, and there are two different flowers. I can get seed from these easy enough. Oh, I've got to, yeah, I'll collect that seed. So all of these are the sage is looking beautiful this year. And I moved this back. So remember, there was one out there and then we had a little one there. So I moved the big one back, and I took the little one and I've got to put it in a pot in the house. The dill seed is matured. St. John's wort and echinacea is looking beautiful. You see, this is up the other end now. And I have this one here. Oh, he's growing funny. And there's a couple more in here that wouldn't have gotten touched by the frost at all. See, as I say, with a light frost, tomatoes can take a light frost. And then, I mean, it's dormant now, but when the temperature, if we didn't get another frost and the temperature warms back up, it would just continue to grow. Now here's the thing we were interested in. Doesn't seem to be any damage to the leaves from the frost whatsoever. And the one that's down here. Now tonight they are forecasting 3 degrees again. That's what they forecasted last night, and we got frost. So we might get frost again tonight. I can't really cover them up. Look how big it grew. It's way over there, and then it grows way over there to those tires. It's really growing into a really big plant, and too much to cover really. This is the beds that's going to be fixed up next year. I've got the rest of the beds fixed up, and the bit of areas where there is excessive weeds, I'll be able to get it out easy. I have to work on these 2 beds come spring. When Fiona passed by, we didn't get much. We got a bit of wind, but it was enough to ruffle around the plants. And this one being furthest out, you see it broke off in a couple of places. And that's why this is all looking all tangled and every which way now, because of the winds from Fiona. I harvested some strawberries just 2-3 days ago, and there are strawberries in there. Now that we got frost, I don't know exactly at what point the strawberries stop growing, maturing fruit and putting on flowers, but right now it does have flowers and fruit. They look a little flopped over, flopped down, those sugar beets. But the leaves are fairly strong. They'll perk back up when it gets a little warmer. I never harvested this, but I should have. I'm telling myself every day, I said, come out and harvest that. I got to the one little head at the center, and now it's coming out with all its side shoots. So for something to come up as a volunteer, that's pretty good. Now that I'm doing this tour, I can show you these and then I can pick them. You see, I got some more golden pearls. I don't know how big the plants are supposed to grow, but of course they didn't do very well. But I'll try again next year. These are really delicious berries, actually. I don't know, it looks like that might be some markings from the frost on this one. So this is the little Tiny Tim that's in the volunteer Tiny Tim. Got another big ripe one down there. I'm not so sure this is a Tiny Tim now because of the way the fruit is growing in it. Doesn't look like it. But you see, this is what got bit by the frost. The plant is not dead, but some of the leaves are. So the frost is all gone now, and you see this has remained dark. This is actually warm from the sun shining on it. But if I don't process this right away, this will deteriorate from this point. So I've got to take it in. I'll take out the seeds and see what looks to be fully developed or safe. But yeah, I have to process this right away. And this. Now, I went back to my records and I was checking. I ordered a neon pumpkin. They look something like this. This is neon. I ordered a packet of neon pumpkin seeds. They turn orange. The couple I have in the house are turning orange. This big vine over here, this is Burgess buttercup. So remember the one big squash that I took up and it had the little spot on the bottom? And that's what that is, Burgess buttercup. Now the same company offers the Burgess buttercup. This one here that I was saying was spaghetti squash, but then when it got growing it didn't look like spaghetti squash. The same company offers, it's called Victoria Early Butternut. So that's what that one was. And this one here, if it's white in the center, it is a squash called mashed potato. They're all hybrids actually, so it's not really any good for me to save the seeds and expect to get that again. I might try with the neon pumpkin, but the other ones, if the seeds are fully developed, I'll just keep them for eating because the seeds are edible, right? I was leaving what onions that wouldn't flopped over in the bed, and check this out. This is Kelsey. I'm going to grow a full bed of those next year. That's huge. And it's not dead. until this frost starts getting heavy. I can leave that there and let it grow some more, I would assume. Now this one's light on the outside. This one over here is a darker outer skin, so I don't know if that's a symbol that it's stopped growing or not. But every one of them that's here are good sized onions. I have this one here that's small for a Kelsey, tiny for a Kelsey actually, but it's a nice onion there, but those huge ones. So I'm going to, like I said, grow a full bed of those next year. This tomato plant, now is that the tomato plant or is that the potato plant? Okay, so this is the tomato plant with that frost damage there, but as we got further up and over here, it is still quite alive. So if we don't get frost again tonight, that will survive, and if the forecast is anywhere close to right, we won't have frost for another 2 weeks. I got 9 cucumber total. It's just 2 plants, so I'm happy with that. And then there was a couple, see there's a small one there. I think there is a couple other small ones in among them. There's a little one there. But full grown, I got 9 cucumber out of those 2 plants. So I'm happy with that. We've got a bunch of volunteer potatoes. It's yet to be seen what we're going to get. These carrots is going to do wonderful. I don't know what's down below, but check the top of this one. I wonder how big that is. We'll see when we harvest them. This is another result of Fiona. They would have stayed standing straight up had not the wind came in and just blew them all around. So if you're in a windy place, you need to put something around, I guess, to keep them up. But if you don't have to worry about wind, then you don't even have to frame them in, I guess. The squash, the skins were getting hard here, so on this one I had taken them all, except for this one in here, because this one is a long ways from being ripe. But I'll take this one today. As far as the cosmos goes, though, I'm really happy. You see, I've got a white flower. I've got this pink one. I have a deeper pink, and then this really dark, I don't know what color that is over there. I'm going to try to save seeds and sprinkle some more seeds along there to see what happens next year. And now, after Fiona passing by and the first frost of 2022, that's what the garden is looking like. I got quite a few tomatoes ripe already, and like I say, they haven't been killed by the frost, so looking great for October the 3rd. It is the next day now. I was editing the video and I'm down to just over 19 minutes, so I can add in this. You see, yesterday there was a bit of frost on this leaf. We had frost again last night, and I come out and there was frost all down around on the stinging nettles and that around here. What was on these leaves seemed to be just a really heavy dew. So last night the temperature at the thermometer got to 1 degree The night before it was down to 0.3. So what I'm saying now is that actually it's a little bit more hardy, I think, than the tomato plant. So yeah, I can plant this out if I was doing transplant, plant it out at the around the average last frost, no problem, I think. And there was no more damage to the tomato plants, as you can see, except for what happened with the rustling with the Fiona winds. They're just looking perfectly healthy here now, and according to the forecast we're not going to have frost for the next 2 weeks, so hopefully a lot of the tomatoes that are there are going to get ripe. This one, however, sitting out by itself, it really got hit with the frost. You've seen that it got hit with the frost yesterday, but now it's showing really worse. I'm going to dig this up and put it in a pot right now and bring it in and see if it'll actually liven up, because this I wanted to bring in as a house plant, if you remember. So that's the news, and it'll probably be the last garden tour now, because, well, I'm going to start harvesting things. I'm going to mow some of the meadow and cover the bed that's not covered yet, and then I'll harvest something and cover those beds, and harvest something else, cover those beds, because leaving it in now, it's really not going to gain me much in the way of new growth, so might as well just start harvesting everything now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, as always, hit the thumbs up. If you want to follow along, then hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.